Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I'm jumping on my flat track racer. I'm going to start fixing a lot of the stuff that has really been broke or substandard for many years. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pedal this thing, and I just want to fix all the stuff that really needs fixing and make it look a little more presentable. And you know, it's mostly machine work and just a lot of cleaning. And the cleaning I've pretty much already done. We do have some engine work. I think I'm going to try to put a Kickstarter back on it. It never did have one since I've had it, and it was always a push starter. But 360 Yamaha is kind of a bear for a 70-year-old to start. So it probably is even with a Kickstarter. So I'll be looking at that. I'll be probably freshening up the top end. I'm not sure yet what I can get or what I might have. I don't even remember what oversize, may not be oversized. It's just been too long. So we're just kind of looking at a lot of this stuff. I'm in no hurry. I just want to make it better than it was, and it needs to be repaired in a lot of areas. It was just, really road hard. So let's get over here and take a look at it, and then we'll get started on machine work. Okay, I've already got it tore down, and I've did most of the cleaning. The frame wise is already cleaned up. The rear wheel is. I'm working on some repairs to the triple tree, and what else? Well, it's mostly the triple tree, I think. But I had some stuff that I had to kind of redo and clean up on the disc brake and the sprocket and all the hardware here. So we'll be trying to get the frame together, and then we'll start working on the engine. And what I'm doing right now is the lower triple tree was in pretty rough shape, so I just went ahead and skimmed it. And right now I'm trying to work on the piece that goes in here. It's the tube that comes up. This here would be your upper triple clamp, and I've got some work to do to it too. I don't know, when I bought this thing, instead of making these holes the same size as these, they turned the tubes down. So this is 34 millimeter, which is normal Yamaha 250, 360 stuff. And this is 32 millimeter. So I've got to bore each of these holes out, and I think I'll be skimming this one too. Looks rougher on the bottom than it does the top, but I may just try to polish the top out. But it looks pretty good. I mean, it's machined, and when I was trying to take the burr off here, I scratched it. Doggone it. Anyhow, let me show you the forks that were on that thing. You can see here, they just turned them down at the top. And of course, it rusts that way. So there's nothing we can do about that. So these are pretty much trash. And well, I've got a really nice set of 72, 73 forks that I've already gone through and sealed and all that stuff. They're a little bit longer, but they are allowed to stick through the top. So that's what we're working on now. I'm working on the triple clamp. We'll be getting to that again. And right now, this piece here is a little small right here at the end. So I'm making a sleeve for it. We'll try to press that on, and then we'll probably weld it on the top, and then I've got to redo the hole. So there's quite a bit of machine work there. It's just too loose. Even though this is a clamp, it's not going to clamp that much. So that, I remember it was really getting bad, and you know, it started shaking like on the half mile, and the mile was real bad. So at the end, about all I was doing was short track stuff. But anyhow, that's what I'm working on now, and I've already skimmed this one. It looks a lot better. I'm going to do a little polishing on it. And this one here, I've got to bore the 2 holes out to 2 millimeters on each one, and then probably skim it. Okay, so on this, I've got to bore this out to almost 1 inch, I believe. So that's my first task, and then we'll press it on there, drill a hole, and then we'll have to turn down the outside just to make it fit the triple tree. A lot of machine work in this one, more than anything. It's all stuff we've got to do, so if you like the machine work, then you'll like this video. I think we're pretty close here. Yeah, probably press on. It's got kind of a little burr here. I got a little bit of it to grind off yet. Okay, yeah, that'll press on there. So we'll keep it just the way it is. I'm going to a 1/2 inch on this. Most of this stuff on this bike, since everything really but the engine was made in the States, is SAE. Okay, see if we can get this pressed in. I can move it a little, I think, if I need to. Yeah, pretty close. It should be all the way down. Okay, looks like that'll do it. So we're good. So now we'll weld the top. Okay, we've got about 3/16 of an inch to come off of this to fit in the lower triple tree. Yeah, it should tighten that steering up just the way it ought to be. I think that's the size. Yep, looks good. That should clamp it. You see, this has to move back and forth because the steering head's adjustable. This is, you put this plate in for like short track, and then you've got this one for a little bit further. I guess it actually goes this way. It sticks the rake out a little bit further, and then this one here is the most. So like for a mile, this is where you'd want to be. So that's why this has to move, but it just doesn't want to move back and forth this way. So I've got to, I got to black oxide my bolt. I've got several to do, so I'm going to do that before I put everything together. Okay, I'm going to skim the bottom of this one, and I've got to stick some, got some welding rod here that's just about the right size. It'll go in here. When I squeeze it up, it'll stop. And that'll keep it from moving around in here, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, that'll, since this here is in here, the vise is going to squeeze that together, so that should stop that. And we're just going to skim it to clean it up. We probably won't even clean it up more than anything. We just want to skim it and see where we're at. The top, I think, is going to be okay. It's just, it was the very top where the handlebars go. Probably don't even need to do this, but I just feel better doing it. Okay, we'll start with that. Just barely hitting. Like I need to move it back a little bit, and then I'll come forward and get the other part. Okay, that's got it cleaned up everywhere except right here. So 3/1000ths is all I took. So we'll leave it right there and then move this forward and get that last little bit. Okay. So this is the one we've got to bore. So that's the next thing I'll be doing is setting up to bore these. Okay, let's see if we can get this centered up here. Yeah, not bad. Get my power turned on and we'll check it out. Okay, you got a flicker right here where it hits the slot. I think that's going to be about it. Yep. Now we got our test indicator in here. Okay, I think we're lined up here. So let's, our target is 34 millimeter, just a little less than that. So, but I've converted that to SAE, so it's 1.340. Light cut there just to see where we're at. I'm running 10 thousandths at a time right now. It's cutting that just fine. Probably would cut more. No need to push it. Okay, we're at about 1318, and our target I think is 1.338 or 1340, something like that. Take 10 more and then give it another look. Okay, should be 10 left, but we'll just look and make sure. 1328. So we're going to 38 or 40. So that should be right on. We'll take another 10. Just to show you. So we're at 33.74 millimeter at 1.3285. This should be the last one. Of course, we still got to do the other side. Getting 37, so that's showing me a thousandths off. I think I'll take one more cut and of 1 thousandths. 1339. Right on. And that is 34 millimeter .02. Perfect. So we'll get set up, do the other side. Of course, we'll have to deburr all this. We'll do it all after we get done. Should be it. Okay, I think we're good. 34.01 on the millimeters. 1.339, that's exactly what we had on the other one. So we hit our target, should be good on that. So let me get it out and we'll deburr it and see if it'll fit. It better. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, I think we're good. I don't know why anybody would put these in the lathe and cut them down. It doesn't make any sense to me. I didn't think it made a lot of sense then. This is the way to do it The bottom one's already at 34. This one should be at 34 also. Okay, we'll just go ahead and deburr this slot too. Okay, should be it. Gonna be polishing tomorrow. Okay guys, I'm just gonna put it together dry here just to trial fit everything. I am gonna put a little bit of oil on the threads though. But I'm not gonna grease the bearings now because I've got to polish all this. So I'll just put a little on there. Got one of my plates in there. I think this is the long one, so for probably running mile. Got some weather coming in. Oh, actually, I think I put that in backwards. Let me pull that back out, swap it. Alright, let's see. Get a measurement here. Let's go to the top here, I guess. Just trying to get them semi-close. Okay, that looks pretty good. I wonder if I've got these tubes in there right. Already looks better than it did when I was riding it. I didn't have the money at the time to do anything like this. I just had to use it the way it was. You know, that's just how things were back then. All right. I think I'm going to cut that spacer off. Yeah, this is a little different than the one on there. Actually, I may need another axle too. Or does that go on this side? I was using that axle because it looked better, but it might actually be this one here is the one that's going to be required. The head's a little smaller. I can't remember. I think I've got these forks on backwards, but it doesn't really matter because this is the one for the brake stay in the hub over here, since there's no brake. But I'm going to have to do some kind of looking here and maybe a little modifying to get the axle in there. Or I might even need to make an axle a little longer, or maybe they are a little bit longer for these. Not real sure. I may have some axles for these. I'll have to go back out and look, but that's looking pretty good, I think. We're kind of getting things back together. I've got some new hardware for the shocks, so we'll get that kind of on so we can see what's going on with that. And I need to make sure that the handlebars are going to be okay with this sticking up, because I think they're about this much longer. Which, you know, if you need them all the way up, then you got it. But I think it's going to be more like this. Oh yeah, yeah. Right there's how that's going to go. So the handlebars will come right here. So there's plenty of room for that. The hardware for this pretty rusty, so I'm not even going to mess with trying to clean them up and plate them. It's just cheaper to buy the bolts. We can get this, and these are threaded, and everything on here is National Fine, and it's all SAE threads, so it's easy to find stuff for it. I think I'd like to have a washer under that so I don't eat up the nickel on there. Let me see if I can find some washers. And these, like I said, these are threaded, so those go in, and then I just got the short nylocks to go on the back, so I can get a washer on there too. Yeah, almost forgot to do it. Okay, so that'll go on there, and these are not threaded up here, so I've just got a washer on both sides and a nylock on there. That's how we'll do that. And I need to plate the pushers here, I guess. This is what pushes against them to adjust the, and you've got on this frame, this is a Champion frame, I believe. You've got different ones here for different wheelbases. So you're completely adjustable back here and on the front for a rake. And you know, it's very adjustable. You can fine tune most of the frame pretty much to the rider as far as foot pegs go or whatever, because you've got all the different bosses on here to do so. These were really ahead of their time in the 70s, and they're a very light frame for what they are. I don't know what, like a DT or a RT frame, the difference, but I bet it's about 20 pounds. I'd say 10 to 20. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and put the handlebars on there just to see what it's looking like there. I know it's going to clear okay. Oh, these handlebars sure seen better days. They're straight, but they're really need paint. Pretty scratched up, or they feel straight to me anyway. Okay. Yeah, most of the bolts on here were safety wired. I'm going to try not to do as much of that as I can and just use the nylocks on everything. That's kind of the new technology. Yeah, see, we've got plenty of room here between the tubes, so the tubes can come up as high as they need to and still clear. And you know, this is a repair that was done at some time. These actually, it was threaded in, and I think it got stripped or something. So I think I did this, but I'm not real sure. I can't remember doing it. Just cut it out, and it's recessed in here, and then we just put a nut on this side, and I'll probably go ahead and safety wire it when I get it tight. It's got a safety wire in the nut. I think I'll replace the nut though. So I think that'll work. And this, like I said, this is probably for the other side, but it's immaterial with this wheel. But I think there's either a longer axle, because even if I cut the bushing down, it's just, I don't think there's enough threads there to get it in the full nut. But these forks look 100% better on there than the old pre-72 forks. I think these are 72 or 3. And I'm real happy with how that turned out. Everything fits good, tightens up good. And it'll just look a lot better if I go ahead and polish all that stuff, all the handlebar aluminum pieces, and it just, you know, it just looks better when you do that. I've got all the Hurst Earhart rear brake stuff here, and I'll be going through and rebuilding that, getting it on there. The brake pedal, you know, the shift and the brake is both on the right side here. If you haven't flat tracked before and done it that way, then you know that you got to kind of get used to it at first. But if you do it every weekend, then you're not going to have any trouble. You're going to remember. But I'll probably go ahead and get the go ahead and mock up like the foot pegs and all the hardware on here that I'm going to remove, and then I'll inspect the hardware. And most of this cap screw stuff I will clean up and black oxide and reinstall it. It's pretty expensive stuff, and this is all in good shape. The only thing that I had was a couple of these. I think these are for the putting the master cylinder on, and they were really hard to get out, so it spun the top. So I went and picked a couple of those up, and they are, I think those were $1.25 or $1.50 a piece, something like that. So that's why I don't want to buy too much of that stuff. But with that and the nylocks, should be, you know, it's just to put new hardware on is just a big improvement. And of course the nickel on the frame was pretty corroded, and I spent a lot of time you know, cleaning it up. It could probably use a little bit more, but I think it's good enough, and I'll spend my time you know, more elsewhere that it needs it instead of that. It looks 100% better than it did. Okay guys, there you have it. Little machine work, little rebuilding of the flat tracker. I bought this one new, and well, I bought it, I don't think it was exactly new, but I bought it new to me in 1972, I think, maybe 71. And I've had it ever since. And you know, it's probably got the fewest miles on it of any of them that I've got. You know, and they're all in a circle. These bikes are really cool. The Champion frames, very lightweight, all 4130 tubing, and I don't know what it weighs. I've never really weighed it, but I'm sure that the frame is a lot lighter than a standard DT or RT frame. But we've got quite a bit done. I wanted to, you know, ever since I had this thing, I didn't like what they did to the forks, and this is what I wanted to do. But you know, back then you didn't have the money to do that kind of stuff. You just barely had enough money to go racing. But anyhow, I'm happy with how it turned out. I've got some work to do to the tank, maybe a little bit here. I don't know whether I'll paint them, probably end up having to, because I've got to do some fiberglass work, and then I'm going to seal it, because this tank's never been sealed, and of course it is glass, so if you get any alcohol in it, it'll melt on you. So we've got to get it sealed, and then we'll start working on the engine. Actually, I'll probably start working on the engine first. I just don't remember what the bore is in it, or whether it's standard or whatever. It's just been too long. So we'll open it up. It'll be a surprise to me too. I kind of placed this rear axle into here, and it's a little bit long. See, the deal is this is wider because of the triple trees here, but the other forks were narrower than these at the bottom, just the way they were made. So a standard bolt fit those, and that's what I've got here. I went out and looked in my barn. I've got 5 or 6 of them. I've got 5 laying here. So I did put the rear axle in here. Everything fits, except it's a little bit long. So I think that's the best way to work, or best way to do that is just to shorten it, rethread it a little bit, and cut off the bushing. Anyhow, we'll get into that on the next show probably. And we got quite a bit more to just kind of look at on this and to repair. And again, like I said, if you're restoring your bike or whatever, one of the best things you can do is either refinish or buy new hardware for it. It really makes the difference. It really does. You know, even more, I think, than a paint job does. I mean, sure, the paint looks good and everything, but it just looks better taken care of, I guess, with the new hardware, and just, you know, cleaning it up. But anyhow, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next week.